Hey y'all, this is Anne Wyatt, your News and Brews co-host. I'm super excited to welcome Matt Puchalski to the stage today, the news desk today. Matt is the co-founder of Bucket Robots, and he is going to come with a very insightful, impactful conversation. But Matt, I just want to hear a little bit more about you, from you, for everyone listening in today.
Thanks, Anne. I am really excited to be here. Hi, everybody. I'm Matt Puchalski. I am the CEO of Bucket Robotics. At Bucket Robotics, we build vision systems for high-volume manufacturing. So that's injection molded parts, that's cast metals, that's all applications where you are currently paying a person to stare at them and say, "Ooh, is that a blemish?" And before that, I was the integration engineer responsible for fleets of self-driving cars.
I think that's so awesome, and I just love your story, and I'm really excited for you to share a little bit more of that with us today here at the News and Brews. Before we get started, I think it's really interesting that you just kind of got your roots in Michelin tires manufacturing, and now you are the co-founder of Bucket Robotics, and that is really, really cool. But I've got to know what inspired you from your work at Michelin and in autonomous EVs,
Robot cars.
robot cars, to start Bucket Robotics.
Yeah, so I was very lucky when I was in college to work at Michelin in their research facility in Greenville, South Carolina. And I worked in two different departments. Their industrial research group, looking to do surface inspection on tires. There's a theme here. And I was also lucky enough to work at their test track in Lawrence County, South Carolina, which was the coolest job of my entire life. Building a company is fun, but being 19 years old and adding robots to cars at a test track, absolutely phenomenal. And so, working in those two different groups, I was lucky enough to transition to working on a few different self-driving car companies. I started at Uber ATG, their self-driving group, and then I was the youngest engineer at a little company called Argo AI, which was Ford and Volkswagen's autonomous vehicle group. Was so lucky I moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it was my job to make the robots work. And then not only that, translate when the robot didn't work. How do you actually tell the infinite amount of engineers, let's build this vehicle more reliably? When you have iguanas falling out of trees in Miami onto your car, how do you actually understand that's how the robot actually broke? And then how do you fix those kinds of things? That's just rattling around in my head as we build Bucket.
That's really fun. That's amazing. And I love that you're able to humanize your story in that way and kind of make it relatable to folks that maybe have some of these problems, right? I've got to tell you, I think it's really also very cool that we are sitting on the stage here right across from a vehicle that you worked on.
Yes.
And you got to tell us the story.
Oh my gosh,
this
yeah.
is a great one.
Yeah, so we're actually staring at a Volkswagen ID Buzz, their fully electric vehicle. In 2020, Volkswagen invested in Argo AI, and I was lucky enough to be one of the American engineers to live in Munich working with Volkswagen to make that platform autonomous. Some of the work that we did lives on with the Volkswagen division Cariad, but I spent many, many months driving back and forth between Munich and the test track near the Munich airport, debugging the prototype vehicles of the ID Buzz, and so I'm so excited to see it physically here. Sorry, I'm pointing behind me, but trust me, guys, it's a very cool car.
That is so cool. I love that. And when you walked in and you said that, and you were like, "Oh my gosh, I've worked on this," I was like, "This is a sign that you definitely needed to be on News and Brews today and kind of share that story with the rest of us." So, thank you for that. I wanted to ask you more about AI and the controversy behind it, I guess, because we had kind of a panel discussion yesterday that you were a part of, and we appreciated your input as for sure in that. But you know, there's all this conversation about how AI is going to take our jobs.
Yes.
And you know, AI is a pretty big part of what you do at Bucket Robotics, and it's integrated in that process, right? So, you tell us, is AI going to take our jobs?
Is AI going to take our jobs? This is something that we hear a lot. So with Bucket Robotics, we were lucky enough to be funded by Y Combinator, and so my co-founder and I have spent some time in Silicon Valley, you know, with some of the brightest minds of AI, and I can say with some confidence that yes, AI is going to take jobs, but not careers, is the really important thing that makes me excited about not just what we're building with Bucket, but also if you see the robotics trends that are emerging in manufacturing and across the world. There's so many dull and dirty and dangerous jobs that exist that are semi-automated that the explosion in AI is making much more easy to automate. And that's true in manufacturing, but that's also true in agriculture and, you know, all the way to accounting. There's a lot of deeply menial tasks that exist that AI can help unlock and elevate the workforce.
Well, I'd love to learn a little bit more about that because, you know, I host this podcast called Workforce 4.0, if I haven't mentioned that already to you. But, you know, the whole premise of the show is about how technology is enabling the human workforce and not eliminating the human workforce, but empowering it. And I'd love to know your thoughts on the 5 to 10 year trajectory of how humans are going to work with all the technology that they're seeing, and even with your own company, Bucket Robotics.
Absolutely, yeah. So staying inside of manufacturing and computer vision, we have been able to use computer vision to do things like surface inspection for decades. But what we're seeing AI help unlock is lowering the complexity to deploy systems. And so if you look at anything that's possible with things like RAG agents that can lower the barrier for unskilled labor and to really accelerate people to work on things, what I see AI helping advance in the next 5 to 10 years are much more seamlessly integrated tools that allow people to interface with like really complicated systems in very easy to explain ways. You'll be able to ask a text, shoot a text to a robot if that's how you're looking at it. You can, you know, voice agents have gotten to the point that you can actually literally talk to your robot and it will talk back as to where it thinks its problems are happening. We're just at the forefront of seeing these types of deployments, and I'm really excited by that.
I love that so much. I've got the Google assistants, and they help me out quite a bit. So I think that the voice technology has come a long way. I love that. I love the CarPlay with the Apple CarPlay.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. And you know, I encourage everybody here to check out, not to shill for Google or anything, but like the advancements of Notebook LM, or even the advancements in synthetic data that we've been using at Bucket to really help. You know, it's really quite cool to see how, again, it's lowering the barrier of entry for deploying complex systems. It's not, hey, I've got a robot, and 90 days from now I'll probably have it tuned for you. It's, nope, you know, let's purchase a robot on Monday, and then next week the robot's up and rolling.
I love that so much. One more question before we close out here today, Matt, but I've got to know, I know you're on this Y2 Combinator journey. That's really exciting. I know you've got to be so proud of that as an accomplishment, but you're definitely an up-and-coming and emerging leader in the manufacturing space. And I've got to know from your perspective, what kind of leadership and what kind of legacy you're going to make on the world, because I think you're up to great things.
Thank you, Anne. That's you know, honestly, my co-founder and I are very lucky to have some incredible mentors and peers that we're building with. Robotics, automation, manufacturing, none of these are zero-sum games. If we can build a robot that helps keep a small business operating, that's a huge win for us. You know, if we can help mentor the future generation of roboticists who, you know, are able to buy hardware that I would have given my left arm for, that's a win for us, honestly. And so it's something that I don't really think often about, so thank you for asking me. But what I'm really excited about is seeing what the future has for not just robotics in manufacturing, but robotics as a commodity. I really look forward to being at, 40 years from now here at MD&M West and seeing humanoid robots walking around and all kinds of other insane applications. I can't wait. It's great to live in the future.
I love that so much. And as we close out today, Matt, this has been an inspiring conversation. I love your story. I think you've got to tell it more, and you got to get used to telling it, because I think you're definitely you're going to be quite popular here in the next few years. So for everyone listening today and catching this News and Brews segment, what's a good point of contact for you?
Yeah, you can reach out to me at matt@bucket.bot or go to our website at bucket.bot. If you are interested in working in computer vision or you have any questions about robotics, let me know. I'd love to connect to as many folks as possible.
I love that. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this segment of News and Brews. I'm your host, Anne Wyatt, and we are signing out.
Thanks, Anne.